What is up, Need for Speed racers? It is I, your wheelman, Alex Cornnut, and we're here with the Mercury Cougar in B class. This thing is awesome. Tons of horsepower, 3 speeds, stock motor, not very expensive to build, and at the end of the day is going to treat you right in B class. It is some cheese, but it's acceptable. I love it. You guys should definitely try it. Nil worked really hard on this, and it hits home for him in a different way, so big shout out to him for doing this for us. His family used to own one of these, and so he has spent some time in one of these cars. Not quite like mine. I think theirs was green. But regardless, anytime anybody owns a car that's in-game, you usually gravitate towards that. So he spent a bunch of time on this, and as it turns out, the stock motor with the stock 3-speed transmission slots right into B class as a cheese build, and it's insane. So, like, we're going to dig into it. I'm going to bring it to you guys. Big thanks to him for bringing that to us. And this car goes great with the music that Unc produced. This coastline cruising track that he's got we're listening to, they just mesh. And so let's dig into it. Let me bring this to you guys. I think you're going to like it. Definitely give it a build and a try because it's not that much money to get into. That's the big deal. Like, once you buy the car, you're not buying another $200,000 engine and then all these parts. Like, you can get into this thing for like 150 grand, which that's pretty reasonable. So if you're balling on a budget and you want a good B-class Slayer, this is a very good one to get into. I love it. Let's go. Alright, so for the engine, you guys, like I said, it is the stock basic. First one that comes with all the way to the left, the 4.7 liter V8. 225 brake horsepower when you start. For the parts, you are going to put silver Pro induction, iron basic ECU, super gold fuel system, Pro silver exhaust, elite platinum screw supercharger, elite platinum nitrous bottle, elite platinum road suspension. We get to put brakes in it. That's pretty cool. Pro silver brakes. It's a heavy car. It kind of needs it. And we had some extra points to play with because if you go faster than 130, it takes it out of the class. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. And then for the tires, you were going to go to elite grip tires. Platinum. Iron basic clutch. Don't worry about that, you automatic players. It's only got 3 gears and you only use second and third. Sport basic 3-speed transmission. The bronze, not the basic, bronze. Sport bronze. Elite platinum differential. Auxiliaries, I'm running nitrous drift. I'm running nitrous grip. Car's really good. It's definitely going to drift. You can get micro drifts with it for sure, but really, like, you're just in third gear, just raw horsepower out of most everything. It just goes. It's a lot of fun. For the handling, all the way as far left as you can go, 60% Beyonce, 60% grift on this one. Steering sensitivity, I'm 2 clicks to the high side. You do whatever you guys feel is good. Whatever you're comfortable with, that's you. Downforce, go all the way high, come back 1 click. That's 159, that's where I sit. You'll notice that the difference between all the way high and that is 1 mile an hour difference. But if I go any lower, it's all over the place. So this car's got enough horsepower that the higher downforce actually helps it in the corners, but I wanted to have as high a downforce as I can get, but still have the 130 top speed show up on the system. My face is kind of blocking that right now, but when you're building it, if you deviate between those 2 spots, you'll see that it says 130 there. There's nowhere to get it to go higher than 130, but you can put the downforce anywhere you want. So you might try all the way low, you might try all the way high, see what works for you. I think that a little higher downforce was good. Traction control, off. Drift entry, brake tap. That is going to give you the 1967 Mercury Cougar B159 build. 130 for your top speed, 0 to 60 doesn't matter. 583 on the horsepower, 683 on the torque, quarter mile doesn't matter. This thing is insane, and with the 3 speeds, you're just cruising, man. I would say that out of all the cars and all the playlists I ran with it, I only lost to the RSR nobody ran the Pista against me, so it would probably lose to a Pista for sure. I mean, Pista has 900 horsepower. You really can't keep up. But amongst all the rest of the B cars, this does very well. It is very, very competitive. I mean, it has no problem holding its own against both of the Eclipses. It has, not Eclipses, the Civics. The Eclipse as well has no problem holding its own against that. The R34 Skyline, it does fine, does good against the Testarossa. I mean, all the other B-class builds that we've got, this one is right there with them, and it's a muscle car, baby, so let's go. It's a lot of fun. This car's great, guys. Big shout out to Nil. Thank you, man, for bringing this to us. I really like it. Let me show you what I was talking about with the parts. Here's what makes a car a cheese build, by definition of myself. We differ in my own Cornnut crew on what cheese is, but for me, a cheese build is if you go take a performance part and you add to it and it takes it from its current class and it skips a whole class and goes to the next one, it's a cheese build. It really doesn't belong where it's at. So what I mean by that is this. If I go to the intake and I have the Pro equipped and then I go to the Super, we go from B 159 all the way to A+. We skip A entirely. And all we've done is add a few horsepower. In this case, it's like 30. But we've added some horsepower and we've added 1 mile an hour faster. Anything that takes this car over 130 immediately takes it out of the class, puts it into A+. So that's what I think makes it a cheese build. It's kind of the same thing, like add the lowest ECU right to A+. Same deal with the fuel system, one click up on that. And what we're doing here is, this is the best combination of parts we could get to actually get the most horsepower without raising the top speed. When you're building a cheese build in B class, top speed is the defining factor on if it stays where it's at. That's how we're able to do it with the Pista. 130 is the hard cap for B class for speed. It's weird, like you can do as much horsepower, as much torque as you can cram in the car. If you can get a transmission that will show 130 as the top speed, game's fine. It's like, oh, that's a B class car. It only goes 130 miles an hour. The moment it sees 131 or above, boom, jacks it up to whatever class it's really supposed to be in. And so that's why we've got it built the way we do. That's why you get to put Elite Bottle in it. We had extra points after we did everything else. We couldn't add a single more performance part to it because it kept taking it out of the class. And so that's why we were able to throw some brakes in it. And we deviated for brakes over clutch every time. The clutch only adds a couple of points. It doesn't take it out of the class. It just adds 2. But it's a 3-speed. You don't need a better clutch. So that's kind of, some insight into what I would consider cheese and some insight in how if you're going to build a B car, shoot for that 130 top speed and then just jam a bunch of horsepower in it and see what you can get away with. That's what we've been doing, and it's a lot of fun. Gameplay footage after this, I've got a couple of races for you guys to see. It's just this car doing what it does. We launch in second. If you're an automatic player, don't worry about it. Just get a perfect start. This car works for single player, multiplayer, whatever you want to do. This is a great car. It's a lot of fun to drive, and I'm honoring Nil's family by driving it. I feel like it's a lot of fun. It's anybody who spends the time doing what he does for me, and when he brings me a car, he's like, hey, yeah, I used to own one of these. I'm like, hey, yeah, give me that car. I love it. I love it because you love it. And as it turns out, I'm giddy to drive it. It's great. Thank you so much for supporting me and my channel. Please like, subscribe if you haven't yet. I'm growing, and it's your guys' help that's growing me. It's point blank. I can't grow myself. All I can do is make content, and then you guys enjoy it, hopefully. So thank you so much for the help there. Every time you guys interact with the video with a comment or a like or a follow, whatever it might be, it puts it in front of other people so they can see it. So thank you. Please keep doing that. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye. All right, race 1, Rat Race. This is one of my favorite tracks. It's pretty technical, got a lot of good turns and jumps, and overall I think represents the B class really, really well. For this race, just racing the homies. Couldn't find anybody in a playlist to run me, so we're just running it us. Running in second when we drop the hammer there. You'll see that it accelerates on par with the other guys. It's not going to rocket ship away like everything else, but as soon as you get into the power, it does. And you'll see that we're making time on that Civic in front of us. You'll see that we're pulling away from the other guys. We drift that corner, get the 3 boost, use all of that to get up to speed. Look at those taillights, you guys. Look at the 6 lines of taillight coming off of that with the 2 trails on the side. Like, you get like just so much, I don't know, neon vibe coming off the back of the car. I love it. We cut in tight there. That's a really specific spot, you guys, you want to be really tight with. This car does get a little loose, so I get a little loose there. I have no problem hitting the walls, trying to make a little wider lines. Going out, then back in. Saving our nitrous, building it up here, getting into this corner, drifting a little bit. Like I say, this car's a little rowdy, takes a little bit of practice to get used to. But you'll notice that we're doing the whole track in third gear. Like, once we're in third, we stay there. This would be a good one to start working on manual, you guys. It's got 3 speeds, and you don't use first. So, really, you've got very little to lose. And then you get to learn and kind of feel what that manual is like for you. Other than that, you'll see I'm always shooting to the inner side of whatever corner. If we're making a left, I'm shooting for the left post. If we're making a right, I'm shooting for the right post. But overall, we're just carrying speed, going through here, wanting to just showcase the car. It's nothing crazy, but it's definitely very fast. And it pulled away from those other guys, no problem. I think they got tangled up with each other, though. Overall, it's a great vehicle. Alright, Tourist Trap. This is not my favorite track. It's not bad, but overall, it's a little tedious. So, anyway, we launch in second. Good car here. Out of the 3 gears, it doesn't matter what you do. You are going to spin. It's got a ton of torque, so just be aware of that, you guys. Cut to the inside there. We are going to be drafting I'm Not Donald in front of us until we get past him, and then we'll be drafting Sad Rose. This car pulls really hard from 100 to 130, usually harder than pretty much any of the other cars. And with that Elite Nitrous bottle, you can get away with a lot. Now, here's the technique. I know I'm already going max speed. There's no reason for me to use my boost. I'm going to sit there and draft and save it for this corner and then use it to get back up to speed. I cut a little far to the inside. I should have went a little wider and used my boost better, but at the end of the day, we were saving that boost for that corner. Once again, we're just keeping up with Sad Rose there. He's in that little Civic. That car is quite fast. It's a very good B car. Him and I get tangled up, a little bit of desync there. Puts him deep into the parked cars. I was able to kind of make away clean, but that was pretty rough on both of us. Definitely not intentional. Cutting the inside there is a more dangerous line, but it is faster, you guys. So if you can work on cutting to the left side of that red pillar, you're definitely going to be better off for that corner. Be careful here. Always avoid any traffic that you see in front of you when you come down that jump, because it's really easy to get tangled up, and that'll cost you your race. So now watch here what our top speed. It's 130 in this car, but with red line tech, meaning I'm not holding the throttle down all the way, meaning I'm not letting the needle bounce off the rev limiter, we were able to get up to like 134. That's really good because the RSR only does 131 on its best day. The Pista only does 133. I can get 135 out of this car on some of the longer runs. And so if you're gentle on your throttle and you're able to hold your own, this car is actually quite fast. Save your boost for this corner and use it through there. It expired before I could get there, but better to have it and make that corner. Other than that, this car's really fun, you guys. I really, really would strongly encourage everybody to build it and give it a go. This is probably my new favorite B Lobby Slayer. It's not super meta, but God, it's a lot of fun to drive, and it's better than a lot of the other cars. Alright, last race of the playlist, riding the L. This is a fun track. Got a couple of lines to take. I like the way it gets mixed up in the city. Added one of our other homies to it, so we got Kibo with us, in addition to Sad Rose, Hawaii, and Donald. These are all guys that are part of my Discord community, all members of the channel, you guys. And so if you want to be a part of that, come and join the Discord. You can race with us and have fun. This is something we did this morning, so just keep that in mind. We're racing all the time, you guys. Cutting to the inside of these pillars, keeping it nice and tight there to set this corner up for another nice and tight. Getting the near misses on the parked cars there. Now, I'm not going to use that boost. I'm going to just hit the brakes and get nice and as tight to that building as I can, because I do not want to hit that jump and go up on the tracks. It's so much slower to do that. We drift a little there. Use that boost to get up to speed. We're walking pretty good on everybody else, but Sad Rose and Donald are giving us problems. Not problems, but I mean, they're close. They're within spitting distance if we make a mistake. You'll see I'm taking wider lines with this car. The sharper you turn, the more speed you're going to shave off. And so I like to make nice, wide, clean lines. It allows the car to stay at its top speed a little easier. I'm going to cut to the inside of that, just going through the checkpoint pillar. Getting a little wide there, almost flirting with the edge, but we're okay. Going to get tight. Clip the inside too much. But keep an eye on the lines here, guys. I'm literally shooting for the inside of those like green pillars that are part of the checkpoint. I avoid that jump at all costs. You can carry a lot more speed through there, but this car's kind of heavy, so I do what I can to not do that. Able to use the boost up the hill, get a near miss, use that boost again to get up to speed, and now we're carrying so much speed so much quicker than the other guys that we're able to just keep that lead stretched out and do very well. Other guys are putting up a good fight, but we're able to, with the power of this car, do what we need to do. So overall, it's a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.